Hey, welcome to Tsama Nafshi. So, here we are with the Hagadah shel Pesach. Ezrat Hashem. So, we did the, let's see, what did we get up to over here? Oh, Yochel min Rosh Chodesh Talmud Loimer b'Yom Hahu. B'Yom Hahu. So I would have thought that the mitzvah of telling over the whole story of the Exodus from Egypt would start from the beginning of the month of Nisan. After all, that's when Moshe Rabbeinu received the nevuah from Hashem that there's going to be the Gula. HaKodesh is Elachem. You're now going to go out. And you're going to be above time. You're going to live forever. You're going to be the Jewish people. Different from the other nations. Talmud Lomar, no. The telling of the story is based upon a pasuk that we said before in the Hagadah. Yigada televincha bayom hahu. You should tell over to your children the whole story, Bayom Hahu, on that day. What is that day? That's the day of the 15th. Bayom Hahu, if it would be referring to that day, so Yochel Miba'od Yom, I would have thought to say that it should start even from before the day comes in. During the day, during the daytime hours. Which technically would be the 14th, I suppose. Talmud Loimar, on that the pasuk says, "Ba'avor zeh," for the sake of this, as you point to the matzah and moror, that Hashem took me out of Mitzrayim. So that tells me, Lo amarti, ba'avor zeh, lo amarti, I do not say ba'avor zeh, when I'm pointing at the matzah and moror, ella, except b'shah sheyesh matzah moror, hu nachim lefanecha, placed before you, and that is only at night, because we can only do the mitzvahs of the seder after the 3 stars come out. This is a very interesting idea. It has to be done specifically on the night of the 15th, when it's definitely nighttime already. So therefore, the Hagadah is said with the matzah and the moror in front of us. The matzah has to hear everything that we've said, all the words of thanks and gratitude and faith and trust in Hashem that we expressed in the Hagadah, and it all goes into the matzah, and then we eat the matzah. That's why the matzah is called lechem the hemnusa, the bread of faith. It's heard all of these things, and we put that into us on the night of the Leil HaSeder.
Pesach is the first of the Yom Tovim, of the Shalosh Haggadah. So it sets the pattern, so to speak. In
That's the beginning, right?
Yeah, all the other ones also we celebrate the Yom Tov at night time, and Shabbos too. We celebrate the first celebration of it is at night. First celebration of Sukkot, the first celebration of Shabbos and anything else is at night.
If I want to add on to the day of Shabbos, and I want to keep Shabbos even before it gets dark, can I do that?
Yes.
I certainly can.
Okay.
And so much so is it Shabbos that I'm not allowed to do any malacha anymore.
Right.
Because I accepted upon myself Shabbos. But it's even during the day.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But not so
Also Yom Kippur. We're able to add on to the Kedushas Hayom of Yom Kippur, even before the night comes in. And Shavuos is also that way. We could start our Suda before. Might not be a bad idea also, because if you want to have a quick suda and get to the base medrash and learn something before you fall asleep on the night of Shavuos, it's a way to do it. Start the suda early before the day goes out. But on Pesach we cannot do that. We can't start the Seder. All the mitzvahs of the Seder are dafka at night. Oh, we did this also. Nitchila Obdei Avodah Zarah Hayu Abu Seinu. Okay, so we did some Chazorah. And we did this pasuk. So initially, we're talking. The theme of the Seder is to point out the tremendous chesed that Hashem has done with the Jewish people. When Hashem started with the Jewish people, we were slaves in Egypt. We were Obdei Avodah Zarah in the time of Avram Avinu. His father and even he started out being Obdei Avodah Zarah. We had very humble beginnings. To be Obdei Avodah Zarah is a lowly thing, and that's what our people were involved in. Our forefathers. And Hashem has brought us close to His service. He's revealed Himself to us, and He has shown us that He's involved with us, and He's given us the great merit to serve Him. So these are things that we are expressing on the night of the Seder, are tremendous Hakaras Tov, that we are members of this special nation that Hashem has chosen to have us serve Him. We have that great merit. V'yomer Yeshua el kol ha'am, and Yeshua also said this. Kol amar Hashem Elokei Yisrael be'ever nahar yashvu abuseinu me'olam. Your forefathers were on the other side of the river. Terech Avi Avram v'Avi Nachor. V'yovdu Elohim acherim. They worshipped idols. V'yakach es avichem es Avram. And then I took Avram from the other side of the river over there, meaning the other side of the world, where they worship idols and they don't worship Hashem. And I brought him throughout the entire land of Canaan, which was going to be the land that Hashem would give to the Klal Yisrael. And made his seed numerous. I gave him Yitzchak. Yitzchak as Yaakov, he has Esav. And I gave Yitzchak two sons, Yaakov and Esav. Esav is Har Seir. I gave to Esav Har Seir. Kol Tuv Lecha. So long, enjoy your life. The Resh is so. I've given you what you need. And that's what Esav wants. Yaakov Abonov Yordu Mitzrayim, and Yaakov and his sons, they went down to Mitzrayim to why did they go down to Mitzrayim? How come Hashem didn't give them a land? We said this before. Because this was the process by which the Klal Yisrael becomes the Jewish people, the chosen nation of Hashem. Okay, so now we're up to Baruch Shomer Haftachaso Yisrael. This was all what Hashem promised. Want to read, right? Baruch Shomer Haftachaso. See where we are?
Baruch Shomer Haftachaso Yisrael. Baruch Hu. HaKodesh Baruch Hu Hishav His Hakates Cells Avimah Shirama Lavravam Avinu Bivris Ein Habatarim
let's translate so far. Blessed is Hashem, who was shomer his haftacha. He guarded his promise that he made to Klal Yisrael. He didn't say, believe that or I'm going to redeem you. He promised. He made a commitment. And he was shomer it. He guarded that commitment that he made to Klal Yisrael. Baruch Hu, blessed is he. And then the Baal HaKodesh goes to great lengths to explain that it wasn't so simple for Hashem to guard this promise that he made to the Jewish people. That he's going to make them into the Jewish people, the nation of Hashem. HaKodesh Baruch Hu chishev es haketz. Asos kamash she'omer la'Avram Avinu b'bris beinu b'sori. In order for Klal Yisrael to become the Jewish people, they had to fulfill the edict of the bris beinu b'sorim, the covenant of the parts. And they fell down. They went so low that they were on the 49th level of impurity, and they were hardly capable of being redeemed to become the Jewish people. So Hashem had to say, okay, 400 years it's not going to be. It's going to be 210. But it says 400. Okay. Chishev es haketz. We're going to make a bit of a recalculation over here, and we're going to calculate the exile and the gullus of the Jewish people, not from the time that they actually went down to Mitzrayim, but from the time that Yitzchak was born. Even though he was born in Eretz Yisrael, and he never left Eretz Yisrael. This may not be too popular with some people, but even in Eretz Yisrael, even in the land of Israel, there was gullus, there was exile, because we were not the masters of Eretz Yisrael. We were there at the sufferance of other people. So even though we were in Eretz Yisrael, but it was not Geula yet, and it was even calculated as part of the 400 years of gullus, so that Hashem would not have to wait any longer to take the Jewish people out of Mitzrayim. Because had he waited any longer, then it wouldn't have been possible to make from those people on the level that they had sunk down to into the Jewish people, into the nation of Hashem. So that's what it says over here. Shenemar. Okay, read please the pasuk now, Roy. Shenemar vayomar vayavram yadoa teda. I was right. Yeah. Okay. Right.
His first name, we have to have Hey, Lavron. Yodai, Tazar, Ki, Ger, Ye, the Cross, Eretz, Lo, Lamin, Avadon, Inu, Som, Arba, Medos, Shana. The name is Hanoi, Asher,
The Gam. It's a Gimel. The Gam. And also.
The Gam, Asher, Avadu, Dan, Anochi, Ray, Pain, Yitzha'u, Birkush, Gadol. Translation here is, and he said to Abram, know for a surety that the seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and they shall make them serve, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards they shall come forth with great substance.
Substance.
Who shall come forth?
The nation, Jewish nation, will come out. Rehush Gadol. They will come out from this exile of 400 years of persecution and affliction. They will come. The nation that had perpetrated this to them is going to be, I will judge, says Hashem. I will judge them. They're going to get it over the head. They're going to get 10 makos over their head. Then they're going to drown in the Yam Suf when they run after Klal Yisrael. They're going to get judged. Don't worry. Justice. The Klal Yisrael will be zocha to see the justice that Hashem does. Not always does the Klal Yisrael see the justice that Hashem does with nations that persecute her. This is what we all would like to see. We would like to see the revenge that Hashem takes against the nations of the world. But this was something that this time that the Jewish people merited to see with their own eyes. Asher Yavodu Dan Anochi. And that nation that does this to you, I will judge, you will see it. V'achrei Kain, and afterwards, Yetzu Ruchush Gadol. They, meaning the Jewish people, will go out Ruchush Gadol. Ruchush, with great acquisitions, great possessions. What's the great possessions that the Jewish people go out with? As a result of the exodus from Egypt, they go out with a very great knowledge that Hashem Hu Elokim. They saw Eser Makos. Is that not a great acquisition that they've acquired? They know Hashem Hu Elokim, but good. And not only that, they go out also they go out from the servitude of Mitzrayim, and now they're on their way to receive the Torah from Hashem. So they've gone out with a great acquisition. They've acquired, and they've become a nation. They've become the nation of Hashem. That Hashem is going to conduct himself with them like he does not like he does with any other nation. There's going to be a tremendous closeness and a tremendous affection that Hashem has for the Jewish nation. These are all great acquisitions that the Jewish people acquired. What was the price to pay for that? The subjugation that they suffered in Mitzrayim, and the purification process that it engendered. But they were willing to do this. So this is what they acquired. Hisha Amga.
Hisha Amga Lasena Uno Shala Achad Bilvad Amad Alayim Lechalasenu. Ela Shebachol Dov Olim Olenu Lechalasenu HaKodesh Baruch Hu Mitzilenu Miyadim.
Right.
Miyadam.
Okay.
Miyadam.
From their hands. Isha Amda Labosenu. And it is this that stood by our forefathers, and by us as well. Not only our forefathers, but it stands by us even today. Lonu. What is it that stands by us and our forefathers? It stood by them and it stands by us. What is the he that we are referring to in the Hagadah over here? That's the subject of discussion amongst the commentators. He sha'amda. Well, before we answer that question, let's see what it is that follows this statement. It was this that stood by our forefathers, and also it continues to stand by us. Such that Shelo echad bilvad amar aleinu chalosenu, wasn't only one nation, such as Mitzrayim, that we're talking about over here, that rose up against us to try to destroy us completely. That was really what the Egyptians attempted to do. They wanted to destroy the Jewish people. Ella, shebachol dor v'dor, in every generation, each and every generation, it says, omdim aleinu lechalosenu, they rise up against us, our enemies. Lechalosenu, to do what? To say, oh, shalom aleichem, how are you? How can we help you? No, that's not what they do in every generation. Lechalosenu. And what happens? HaKodesh Baruch Hu matzilenu miyadam. What happens is HaKodesh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, saves us from their hands. So what is the Behi? What is it that stands by our forefathers and us, such that Hashem saves us from our enemies in each and every generation? They try to do the opposite of saying Shalom Aleichem to us. Many of the commentators here want to say that the He is referring to this bris bein habesarim, this covenant of the parts that Hashem entered into with Avram Avinu. Wasn't just in the generation of Avram Avinu. It continues. It's a covenant. It's a promise that Hashem has made to Avram. He made it to Avram, and He's standing by it in each generation to the descendants of Avram as well. That the Jewish people are eternal. They will be here forever. Whoever tries to destroy the Jewish people, what happened to the Egyptians in the time of the Exodus from Egypt will happen to them eventually. Maybe we won't see it with our own eyes. Right? We don't see any great retribution that was suffered by the Germans. We haven't seen that yet. Not really. But we have emunah shlema that, first of all, Hashem has saved us from them. Even though they were successful to destroy much of our nation, Rahman al-Islam, but here we are, we're still the Jewish people. We're all over the world. And even here in Israel, we're here. We're still not safe. We still have, because this is what it says, in every generation, they rise up against us. It could even be that is part of the Bris Bein Basarim, that we have the nations that rise up against us, and we see who the nations are. We see that they're not our friends. We see that we are our own nation. We don't need to become assimilated and integrated with them. They hate us anyway. And this is also something actually that keeps us the Jewish nation. Keeps us separate. Because the nations of the world don't want us to be part of them. Ultimately, that's for the best of the Jewish people. So the Jewish people stay separate from the nations, so then they observe the Torah, and they come close to Hashem. Whereas when they start to assimilate with the other nations, then they start to forget about Hashem and forget about the Torah.